Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. What's happening? What's going on? And welcome to the Rise and Slay Morning Show. You know, y'all, we are here to slay all the things, okay? And slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that really resonate with me, and hopefully they resonate with you too. And that is stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and knowing you are built to last. So as you come into the show, just let us know where you're streaming in from. Give us a shout out. I want to give you a shout out too. And recognize that you could be spending your time anywhere, but you decided to stop in on the Rise and Slay morning show. I am your host, Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. And I am a transformational personal brand strategist. And I know that's a lot of words, but I'm going to share and explain a little bit about this today. I am also a certified image consultant. I am a keynote speaker. I speak all across the DMV and nationally as well. And I'm an author of several books. Here are some of the books being displayed. Actually, all of the books are being displayed. And one of them is a best-selling. So I'm a best co-selling author. And also, I am a United States Air Force veteran. All right. So when I share all the things that I speak to, I draw my experiences, my expertise, my skill set from my experience of serving 30 years in the United States Air Force. And so as I talk through this, there may be something that comes to light, or maybe you're thinking about that you're like, okay, what is she talking about? All right. Now, on this particular show, because I have another show, it's called The Slay to Success Talk Show, and that is on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and where I bring in a guest and we talk, anywhere from leadership, wellness, mindset, personal branding, and some business, acumen. I see that there is a stigma, if you will, around personal branding. Last night, y'all, I had a masterclass and I had about a dozen or so women show up. And the title of the masterclass was Bold Influence, and really how to stand out, lead, and thrive in today's world. So what is personal branding? All right, let's just set the level out the playing field here to really understand what this is. This is not, okay, about logos, websites, titles, positions, or anything like that. It is about putting a concerted effort towards letting people know what you do, how you do, usually in an effort to build expertise and visibility in your respective industries. And we are drawing on the things that you can do. So today we're going to talk about the Silent Résumé Effect. And what does this really mean? Okay. So I'm going to look here on Facebook just to make sure that I don't have anyone there, because, Facebook, y'all ain't trying to let me be great. But, you ain't going to stop us from having a conversation about what's going on here. Okay. So let me go over here and turn down the volume. You know how this goes, y'all. And let me make sure that there's no one there leaving any comments as we go through this conversation. So personal branding really allows us to participate in opportunities that you never knew existed. And the one thing that I continue to do in my personal brand journey is to show up and not speak, okay, a lot when I walk into the room. I let the visual appearance of what I'm doing, which is very meticulous and it is planned out. It's very intentional because it's sending a message. All right. And I shared in the masterclass last night that we don't need permission to show up powerfully. We don't need permission. All right. If you want to wear a suit every day, okay, just like I remember growing up that there used to be a guy that would go around in the neighborhoods selling life insurance, and they would be wearing a suit. Okay. My dad wore a suit every day after he retired from the military. It was just his uniform. All right. And when I was in uniform, I realized I was marketing myself in such a way where people were watching me, and they weren't telling me that they were watching me, but I was reflecting my resume. All right. Because people size you up, and I don't care what anyone says because I hear it all the time. Oh, well, that's just being judgy. Do you know that people will judge you based on what you are wearing before they look to see what your credentials are on your resume? People are looking you up on LinkedIn, on Google, on Facebooks, on Instagram before they decide that they want to do business with you, partner with you, collaborate with you. Because if you are not like in the brand for where they are at, because everyone's got a brand. All right. So this is about being in alignment with where you want to go. Now, what I do, okay, is I think about the future. All right. In the future, what is it that I want to do? What do I want to be known for? Where do I want to spend my time? And a lot of times when I think about this question, it's I want to be on more speaking panels. I want to be a keynote speaker. I understand that I am an experience. So that is kind of the mindset that I have. When I was in uniform, y'all, I was the walking billboard for the military. And there were several things that I did on purpose. I was very intentional, especially the last half of my career. So, for anyone who has never served in the military before, they used to have uniform inspections. All right. And I think they still kind of do them now. I don't know. I'm kind of far removed. But when they would do uniform inspections, they would look to see, okay, every little detail. Do you have any strings hanging? Is your uniform ironed? Are your boots polished or, wiped off? Because, now they got these soft boots. When I first started out, they had, real boots where we had to actually polish the boots with real shoe polish. Okay. I'm talking about cotton balls and soaking it into the water and then going with the shoe polish and then rubbing them down and then buffing them out. All right. It was a whole process. And making sure that your name tags and your ribbons and the stripes, all that, they were inspecting all the way from the head to the toe to make sure that you were in regulations and within the standard for which they wanted everyone to be. So it was like, okay, everyone kind of like needs to be the same in these uniforms, right? Now, there's always rooms to express yourself differently, but in the same way. So what I chose to do, y'all, is I wanted to create a consistent image, very consistent. However, there were slight I can't even say the word, y'all, differentiators that I decided to do. One of them was my hair. All right. I wore my hair the same way the last 15 or so years in my career. And that was pulled back with a bun. All right. It was the signature style for me. That was number one. Second thing is now they have different size stripes. They have the size for the women, and then they have a size for the man. What I decided to do was go with the bigger stripes. Now, I remember going to this professional, it's called Professional Military Education course. And, they were looking at everybody's uniform. And I remember one of the instructors saying, you've got on the men's stripes. And I was like, I do? And they're like, yeah, you can't wear those. So I went back and looked at the instruction. Of course, it didn't have anything in there that referred to that. And so I said, yeah, that doesn't say that I can't. Plus, I'm not trying to be little up in here. I earned these stripes. And if the men can wear the bigger stripes and you saying that I can't wear them, like, and it doesn't say that I can't, I'm wearing the bigger stripes. So I would buy the bigger stripes for all my uniforms. All right. That's why they look so big. They're the men version. I sewed down all of my pockets, y'all. Okay. Every one of them. Even though there was nothing in there that said I had to or anything like that, but it gave a different type of feeling and look. And these were the differentiators that set me apart from everyone else. Fast forward, and now as an entrepreneur, starting after the age of 50, while I was in service and everyone else was out, making their business, building their business over some time, I needed a way to accelerate my success in the business. And what I decided to use was the same strategy that I used in my uniform is the same strategy that now I'm using out of uniform as an entrepreneur. Now, so when I talk about the silent resume effect, my resume looks different, much different than when I was in the uniform. And it is for a specific reason. I chose to be different in a lot of different ways. I changed my appearance from head to toe. I changed the language for which I talk to. All right. I don't talk in acronyms, if you will, except for SLAY. Okay. That's something different. But I don't talk in acronyms like I used to when I was in the military. I don't walk like I was in the military. I do not have closed fists, marching, heel to toe in hallways. And I definitely use my platforms to share who I am and how I do it. So last night, one of the women in the masterclass says, "You are your walking billboard." And I said, yeah, because guess what? When you are starting out and no one really knows you, you have to make somewhat of a big entrance, okay? In the aura and the presence. So because I am a personality, I already know this, and the energy and the vibe that I bring into the spaces that I go into, I know that it's all about alignment. This is who I am in the inside, and what you all see is the expression from the outside effect. Okay, so there is a strategy to the wardrobe that I have built, and I have invested way more than, than my husband would say that I need to on what I call my uniform. Okay. And I see every single day, like when I show up, that I am so much different than everyone else. And I at times can be, a little bit like, should I just, like go back home and change? No, I'm not doing that. So I really have built a style that speaks to the goals. So every one of us has goals, all right? Especially as a business person's or an entrepreneur, or maybe you're in your career and you're in the C-suite space, or maybe you're a political candidate that is running for office right now. But every one of us has goals when it comes to our personal style. And what is the theme is based on consistency. All right. People know what they're going to get when they invite me to go to different places. First of all, I'm wearing pink. All right. That is not even a conversation. I remember the very first speaking engagement that I did after I retired. And, most of the times people go and they put on their uniform, like their service dress uniform, when they're asked to go speak at, certain events after they retired. And I decided that's not my style. That's not what I feel called to do. And so I gently brought it up in conversation. Like, I'm not wearing that. I'm not wearing the uniform. I said, but I will be wearing pink. So if you want, if you're looking for someone else to kind of fit that mold of, military style or whatever, because regardless if I wear pink, blue, red, purple, orange, it's not really about the color. It is about the way that I can convey the message to reach certain people. Okay? Because nowadays people just be doing a lot of talking. Good morning, Queen. How you doing? Happy Tuesday to you, the top of the morning. Hopefully you're doing well. I'm excited about the day. I got a 45-minute run in, okay? And it's been a while since I've ran for a long period of time because I've been doing like these shorter, run cycles, like intervals, but I'm into these long runs now. It's helping me with the energy and getting my thoughts together, prepared. And you're joining from Alabama, and you're currently at the gym getting it in. That's what Slay Nationers do. Okay. In Slay Nation, this is what I say, to the community. We are change makers, trailblazers, legacy builders, disruptors, people who go against the grain, people who are not easily swayed to go along with what everyone else is doing. Because there's plenty enough people out there that are doing that. All right. We have decided that we want to make impact and influence in a much different way, which is long lasting. All right. People will remember us well after we're gone. We're making a whole lot of noise. And, I was sharing in the masterclass as well, which if you missed it, y'all, I'm telling you right now, powerhouses were in this masterclass and we were helping one another to see how our appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and our online presence really builds this holistic approach to who we are. And it helps anyone who's in the decision-making seat to decide, okay, yes, they are speaking to what we are trying to achieve in our particular business, our particular career goals, industry, or whatnot, right? And we're not for everybody, but there is an audience that we have been assigned to. And the closer and closer that we are getting to understanding this, the easier it gets. And I'm all about working smarter and not harder. All right. So our presence should be so strong that people feel it before we speak. It should be so strong. All right. Again, you have to have a certain mindset and you have to be ready to feel the energy that comes back to you. Because when I walk into a room, I already know it's going to be one or two things. All right. There's be one side, people that are very curious. They're like, oh my goodness, who is this? I've never seen her before. Or it'd be the other side, like, there go the Slay Queen. She coming up in here with this pink, and everything that she is wearing is very thought out and planned, because I want more conversations. I want more partnerships, more collaborations, more insights, more perspectives. I have learned and grown significantly personally and professionally since I started out, because I decided to do things much differently. So our silent resume is everything that people see, what they feel, and they experience about you before you even speak a word. So it's all encompassing, right? It's the body language, it's our presence, it's our energy. People pay for energy, okay? I'm just telling you right now. There is no way, okay? There's no way that I'm going to allow anyone to dim me down. Okay, tone it down in here. You too much, you not. No, 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 no. I always go back to, if you say I'm too much, you too little. Okay, like, and you're not for me, and it's okay. I don't have to please you. I don't need permission to show up powerfully. I don't need it. All right. I already know what I am, who I am, how I do what I do, and whys. The whys are deep. They're deep as to why I do what I do. And no one can take that away from me. Okay. Hey, Trisha, how you doing, Queen? Good morning. Good morning. I know you in Mississippi, right? And had a really great conversation with Trisha last week. She is also an image consultant, and we are in the same space, and she understands what I am putting down, okay, all the way. So when we have increased confidence, right, that our image, this consistency, all these things, they point to credibility. People start to really trust. That's why I chose to have different modalities to give you a full picture of what I do and how I do it. I have 2 talk shows. I wrote all these books. I network online, in person. I have clients that I meet with who are in my Brand Boldly programs. There is so many things, okay, that go into finding out more about me that I don't have to speak to. I put up my booth at an expo, and I shared this last night in the masterclass as well. And I went to my son's basketball game because, again, his basketball game was at 11 o'clock, and it was 10 minutes away from where the expo was. So I planned it out, y'all. I was like, you know what? Because I believe in family, and that is one of my core values, what I'm going to do is show up early, okay, which I did, put up the booth. So I got there at 10 o'clock, put up the booth, went to my son's basketball game that started at 11, watched the entire game, went back to the booth, and one of the women that I know that was across the, on the other side, she had her booth up, said, do you know that there were so many people that came by and was taking pictures because I had my QR scan code for all the things that I do? And I said, yeah, because guess what? When I'm not there, I want the booth to speak, okay? And if you do it right, you don't have to do all this, going here, there, and everywhere. I knew it was important for me to have my butt in the seat and watch our son play basketball. All right. And he was slaying it. Okay. He is doing the most. However.com, this is all about being intentional about where I'm spending my time, how I'm spending my time, and what is the overall picture that I want you to get. Exactly. Not too much, you too little. Okay. That's all that is. All right. Because a lot of people think it's too much work for me to get up in the morning and get dressed and, present myself in a certain way. It's okay if I just slum it around. All right. And then you wonder why people aren't like, who is this? Whenever I go to the grocery store, I could just wear this and I'll be way comfortable at. The conversations are different for me when I'm in the grocery store. People will say, oh my goodness, you look so nice. Where are you coming from? What do you do? And then, I share it with them. They're like, oh my goodness, there's a way that you can move the needle. This is moving the needle just a little bit. It is a tool. It is not the all to be all. All right. But it's what the room says about you when you walk out. After you leave from wherever you're going, what are they saying? It's all about the story your presence tells before your credentials are even looked at. This is the silent resume effect that I'm speaking to. So before anyone reads your bios, because we got these bios out here, y'all, and I'm just like, woof, there's a lot going on with that. And and I give the flowers to the people who have done like all these incredible things, right? All the accomplishments and the accolades. But before anyone reads that bio or goes checked on the LinkedIn or Facebooks or Instagrams or wherever you're at, or they're looking at your resume, They are watching you. They watching you move. They're scanning you head to toe. They want to know how you stand, how you carry yourself, how you engage, how you communicate, how you own the moment. And I want anyone that's in my particular community to own everything. So we are not just winging it. All right. We're being very intentional. We are showing up looking like the leader, the expert, and the brand that we claim to be. So we could be the most experienced, which we are. We could be the most educated, which we are. We can be the most talented in the room, which we are. But if our present doesn't match our potential, we get passed over. We get overlooked because it does not match. All right. We have to understand that as we evolve, everything needs to evolve as well. But you can create your own plan, all right, to how you're going to start to present yourself in a different way. All right. And then, okay, this is not just saying we aren't good enough, okay, because we are. And I know sometimes that can play into our thought patterns too, right? That's why I run a lot. That's why I exercise a lot. I have to like squelch down the disempowering thoughts that sometimes comes up. But because we don't, we don't look like the solution, perhaps, we don't get the opportunities that we desire and mostly that we deserve. That's why image matters. So I don't care. I mean, I'm here. I'm going to be the first to tell you, okay? Your image matters. Personal branding is not vanity. It is a strategy because when you walk in the room with alignment between your goals, your energy, your vibe, and your appearance, people take notice. You exude clarity, and clarity is power. Clarity is power. The more that you have clarity, the more you have confidence to walk into your purpose, which your purpose leads to doing things that are meaningful, impactful, and long lasting. Okay. So your wardrobe, and I'm talking about the silent resume effect, speaks strategy. And I learned many strategies to navigate in a system that was not designed for me to win. And guess what? You could also create strategies based on where you're at, what you do, and how you do it. Your posture, the way that you carry yourself, that screams power. And your vibe, that radiates, I belong here, I bring value. You don't have to brag, okay, when your presence speaks for you. So that is what I wanted to talk to you all today about. Thank you, Queen. And I was so excited that you were there as well. And it helping me with all the background because, I started pushing buttons and screens are off here and screens off that. So, y'all, if you weren't at the masterclass, that's okay. I will give you a little bit of FOMO because there was a lot of insight and perspectives being shared in that space. And people were very interested on how to use this concept as a tool to help them to accelerate. And so there is so much that goes into personal branding. And one of the things that I offered was an alignment session. This is like a 90-minute alignment session where we're just talking through like some top priorities for yourself to get you started. Because I believe what happens is people start to copycat other people and the way that they do it and how they grow and how they win. And it's not working. You know why it's not working? Because it's not them. And if you're building anything from scratch, like saying that you are independent, There's no one that you're tied to. Like you're not tied to, a company or an organization that has kind of like carried you, and partner with you right away. This is just like a slow grind, if you will, but not in a way where it's just going to wear you all the way out. The very first thing that you should be thinking about is how to build a personal brand and really staying in, like I told him last night, staying in the pocket. Okay. So that's what I wanted to share with you is your silent resume is everything people see, what they feel, and experience about you before you even say a word. So as you go out, trailblazer, change maker, path, you're on your own path, your own journey, you're an influencer. I just want you to know that you should never compare yourself. Don't look at the left or to the right. Stay focused on making sure that you are being consistent, that you are building a brand that you absolutely love and that others understand and know, because it's all about the perception. And personal branding is, like I said, a concerted effort of putting the energy towards something that is purposeful, showing your expertise, your skills, and your experience, packaging it up all real good, and then understanding that it speaks to the decision makers that are saying, hey, yes, I really want them to come on in and share. So thank you all for listening in. If you are wanting more information about how to really build a brand that's powerful and translatable, just come see about me. All right. Just go ahead and put it into the comments. You can send me a LinkedIn Messenger or a Facebook Messenger. And let's just talk about it, because I don't want anybody to feel like they can't win in their next. You certainly can for whatever you're doing. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you, Chevy and Trisha, for dropping in live with me this morning. I don't see anybody else here on Facebook land, and they will come back. So if you come back, just go ahead and put in hashtag replay and let me know that you were here and you listen in on the conversation. And I'll see you on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and on the Slay to Success Talk Show. All right, y'all. Bye-bye.